Start. Yeah. Respected Chairman of Vijayawada branch of SCI and today's our speaker Narhari Nauka from Bangalore and our committee members, managing committee members of our senior members of the past chairmen of the branch. Good evening to each and everyone, and I welcome to today's seminar. Out of one day we are successfully completed. Today is on income tax, latest changes of the income tax in the assessment proceedings and penalties or latest updates of the penalties. We are going to be here from today's our resource person. Before going to start, I request all the members to raise for the motto song and not required to stand as a respect, mark of respect to put your right arm at your arm.
येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति येष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामंशो पुरुषो निर्मिमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यति कश्चन
Thank you, each and everyone. Now I request our branch chairman give his welcome address.
Yeah, thank you, Narendra. Distinguished speaker for today's virtual CP session, CA Naukan, Secretary Narendra, my colleagues at MC, past chairman of Vijayawada branch, and my professional colleagues across industry and who are practicing, who are joined for today's virtual CP meet. Good evening to one and all. At the outset, I welcome you all for today's virtual CP seminar on latest developments in E-Assessments and Various Penalties under Income Tax Act. We are fortunate enough to listen to Naukan Garu in an earlier session. I think so 15 days back or 3 weeks back, we handled a session on how to handle new income tax portal for the students in a SICASA program organized by Vijayawada branch SICASA. And I have received excellent feedback on his presentation or on his session. Even including my own office, article students also have listened to the program, have come back and shared the experience and requested me to organize furthermore programs with him in income tax, especially in future also. So basing on that, he's a good friend of my secretary Narendra also. So we requested and we planned a session today. Friends, we all know that time. I mean, we have to learn, unlearn, and relearn in income tax. So it's a day-to-day. Every day we'll come up with a new subject, a new case law in some tribunal or some, high court or Supreme Court. So whenever this latest case law comes, we need to be updated with the latest happenings in the what's happening in the subject. So with this idea in the background, we roped in Naukan Garu and requested him to speak on today's topic, especially on E-Assessments being already it has been launched 2 years have been over. We have experienced how it is going to be. Even myself also handled a few E-Assessments. So, and what are the penalties which are going to become and how we need to be, if we agree demand also, okay, if we agree for any demand addition made by the assessing officer, nationalized e-facilitation center, how to give replies to the, for the penalties which are being levied by them, or how to come up with, justify with suitable case laws, I think so, is going, I request Naukan Garu to throw light up on them. with this idea in background, I also informed that we had a wonderful session yesterday on the topic on GST regarding especially foreign trade policy and remission of duties and taxes on exported products by Madhya Rajesh. It was well received by the participant. I also request all the participants to be attentive and note the important points which will be dealt upon by our speaker Naukan Garu. I also take this opportunity to inform you all that 4 days refresher course on GST has been planned by Vijayawada branch on 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st of this month. The sessions will start at in the afternoon at 2 p.m. and 2 to 5 p.m. a daily 3 hours program, and we have zeroed in upon the upcoming and burning topics, and speakers have been finalized by the indirect taxes committee itself. So we have been posted for CP event approval, and we haven't received. We are expecting that on Monday. So once we receive the approval from CP directorate, we'll circulate the flyers and messages to all the participants. So I request all the participants to join in good number. And I also take this opportunity to inform you that Vijayawada branch has been allotted 2 days national conference for the students on October 29th and 30th. So almost speakers have been finalized for those 2 days programs also. I request all the members who have joined today to encourage your students to join the program and take a knowledge feast from that. And also, if any students are interested, we provide links. We have already provided links. Vijayawada SICAS has already provided links through email, I think so. So with the help of those links, you can request your student. You can inform your students to interested students to present a paper at Vijayawada forum. Okay, with these ideas in mind, I request Narendra to briefly introduce our distinguished speaker Naukan Garu to the August gathering. Over to you, Narendra.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. And I feel very most happiest person to introduce Mr. Narahari Naukan, and because he is my classmate, and I will share all the things. And he is also now he is the practice leader at Guru Anjana at Bangalore, and he is FCA and BCom from Usmania University, Hyderabad. And he has secured third rank in MCOM entrance conducted by the SV University, but he did not choose the MCOM. He chose as a CA as a profession. Currently, he is pursuing LLB in the third year from the Karnataka State Law University, and it means he shows his interest in the education, and he secured All India 70 rank at ICWA level. And with this brief introduction, he is having mainly as a practice leader in the area of taxation, in the core area of assessments in that organization. He is leading like that because he is more expert in the how to handle the assessment proceedings, and what are the recent notifications or notices we are receiving. 143 1A or 139 9 notices are also, and how to handle the department, how to get the refunds, how to get the assessments quickly complete, and how to avoid the penalties. All the things I think we will learn the today's speakers. Okay, with this brief introduction, definitely you will throw total subject, total secrets how to hitting in Bangalore income tax department. Is surviving the area of income tax, how to secure his clients also. Okay, he will share without hiding anything. Well, expecting from the today's speaker. Thank you. With this brief introduction, I am adding the today's platform. I welcome to the Kant to the our Vijayawada branch fraternity. And we will definitely plan a physical also. Thank you. Now you can go ahead, sir.
As they've said, I'm very glad to share this dais, and this is a very good opportunity for us to share our thoughts about as rightly said, Purna sir and Narendra Babu. There are many things, but I may not be going to discuss today all the case laws and everything. The reason why it will take a lot of time. I'll be restricting what are the latest developments in the income tax, E-assessments, especially E-assessments. And then there are various penalties. I've listed too many. I don't know whether I'll do justice for all those, but in that there are 3 or 4 penalties being a chartered accountant in practice, we should have some cautious while suggesting our clients. So those three definitely I'll take much time and explain, and rest all I'll just run through as a subject. And thank you once again for giving this opportunity to share my thoughts on this. And I'll request Abhishek to, can you share screen, Abhishek? Yeah. The topic is like latest developments in e-assessment proceedings and various penalties under income tax. Before going to that, he's my spiritual Mahatreya, my guru, spiritual guru Mahatreya. He always says, change only the changeable, accept the unchangeable, and remove yourself from the unacceptable. So the current scenario, how the income tax portal is working and what is the situation of us, it clearly suits, because the changes what implemented in the portal, we may not be able to change, but our job is only just accept. And if you're not accepting, we may not do the justice. So I'll start with this quotation, and with all his blessings. And either way, it is all my experience and everything. All this credit goes to my Guru Anjana partners, and whom I'm reporting, Jana and Prashant. Day in and day out, they'll give a lot of inputs to me to complete assessments or various assignments, what it is going to assign to in my team. So with all their blessings, I'll just go to the first slide. Very simple, I've covered only the latest developments in e-assessments and penalties under Income Tax Act. Here, Act is very simple. What is assessment? If you take the example, and we can imagine too many things, but Act definition of what is assessment is a very crystal clear. Section 2(8) of Income Tax Act defines assessment includes reassessment. And there is one more section 2 subsection 40. It says regular assessment means the assessment made under subsection 143(3) of or 144. That's all. And there is no specific meaning and there is no clear explanation about the assessment, but only based on all our experiences where we representing before the authorities and what they'll question to us. In a general understanding, we say that income tax assessment is the process of collecting and reviewing the information filed by the assessees in their income tax return. So assessing officer, he wanted to collect some more information what is declared in the income tax return rather than what is filed in that. So for that, he's keep on questioning till he gets satisfied. And our motto also to get a clean order, what the return of income is filed, which is final, and there is no adjustment to that. So this is where our like I can say negotiation or convincing or anything, whatever the word you may use. So this all depends on how the way we are going to present, how he is going to receive our presentation. So this all depends on this. With this, so can you go to the next, Abhishek? Yeah, here I'll just give very briefly about what is the various type of assessments. There is 143(1), summary assessment, scrutiny assessment 143(3), best judgment assessment 144, and income escaping assessment under 147. Here majorly the topic is only 143(3) and various developments in the assessment proceedings, but I'll just touch upon 143(1) because it is a very become hot topic very recently. I can see very recently last week itself I could submit more than 10 to 15 clients. There is a 143(1) adjustment. So if I'm able to get that notices, I'm expecting all the members, whoever is in practice, they would have also received a lot of 143(1), but 143(1)(a) adjustment. So what exactly about that? I'll just give very brief about that. So scope of assessment under 143(1). All these years we were just thinking 143(1) means it is only a just summary assessment, whatever the returns is filed, and CPC will verify and give it to us. But year on year, if you keep checking what is happening in the department, so they keep developing. Everything is going to a system. In the manual, we were doing almost some 70 years. We were doing a manual, but all of a sudden, from the 2006 onwards, phased manner, it is started changing into as a assessment, to dynamic. So the systems is involving. Yes, systems perfectly work, provided the code given by the developer, that also should take the same way. The what is outcome is depends on the input given by the system. So here system is processing. How the system will know? System is not aware, but only the coding is depends. Here, so 143.1 is majorly covers almost, it is can say summary assessment, as section says. Any arithmetical error in the written or incorrect claim. Here I'll take my personal example. One of the SSE normally will think 0 does not carry any value. But here it happens. 0, if you put in front of the number, it doesn't carry any value. If you put after the number, it will have a significant impact, even 0. So one of the SSE, it has happened, he is getting a salary of 10 lakhs. So 0 does not have any significance value. So they've added one more 0. So that become 10 lakhs has become 1 crore. So system does not know anything. System is calculated as per the returns, income is 10 lakhs. As per the 143.1 intimation order, 1 crore rupees. So pay the tax on that 1 crore amount. So this I'm just taking examples. It has happened. But after that, we submitted rectification, supporting documents and everything. It is able to rectify. But still, this is one of the area, arithmetical error in the return filed or an incorrect claim. And the second para, an incorrect claim, if such incorrect claim is apparent from any information in the return. So I'll here also one more example. Most of the SSEs, they might have not having any deductions under ATC, but still they wanted to claim it as a ATC deduction. They'll just put 1,50,000 and claim the taxes. So we don't know. The system may or may not accept going forward. And then this is a very beautifully is implemented 2 years back in the 2018 Finance Act. They made a provision, addition of income appearing in Form 26AH, which has not been included in the ITR. See that the income what is appearing in the 26AS, if you are not declared in our return of income, that also allow you to like 143.1 make the addition. Example, X Limited has filed their ETDS returns, pay amount to Navkant 10 lakhs, but have not declared that because work is not completed. And they should make it as accrual basis. And I should file my return of income and receipt. Once if I complete my work, I'll raise the invoice. So here, so it is appearing in the 26AS, but have not included in my tax returns. So the differential amount, what is amount is appearing in the 26AS and what is not there in your tax returns, there is straight away they'll make the addition of 10 lakhs rupees. This was till last 2 years back, and there they've started implementing carry forward of that Form 26AS TDS credit. If you declare now, if you go to the income tax returns, there is an option to show that what is the income is appearing in the 26AS, for which year you are claiming it, means carry forward to the subsequent years. So that option is introduced. Initially, it was not there. Now it is there. So if you miss to declare, see, you need not to offer it to tax, but still if you fail to disclose in your tax returns, TDS schedule, carry forward to subsequent year, still you have a problem. So that just on the basis of 26AS, they'll take the amount, they'll make it as a taxable income is more. Then there is a disallowance of expenditure indicated in the audit report, but not taken into account in ITR. This is also a very good example here. Normally, provision for gratuity, that is 40A7. In the audit report, will disclose correctly in the 3CD report. Provision for gratuity, provision for leave encashment, examples I'm taking. I'll put the amount. But while filing the return of income, ITR 6 for a company, I'm just taking an example for the company. There what we'll do, we'll make the net of amount, gross, and what is paid before filing the return of income. The net amount I'll declare there. So 10 lakhs is the provision. Before filing the return of income, you paid some 7 lakhs. So 3 lakhs. So effective disallowance is only 3 lakhs. Your tax computation is perfectly correct, but disclosure in the tax audit report and disclosure in the IT returns should match. Otherwise, even though you paid before filing the return of income, the differential amount it will take, and because what is reported in the tax audit report and what is disclosed in your tax returns, the differential amount they will take and make it as an addition. These all are only a proposed additions. And then disallowance of loss deduction claimed if written off the previous year, which set off of losses is claimed and furnished beyond the due date. So here one more checkpoint: if the return is filed belatedly, loss either way we can't carry forward. But while filing the return, we don't have any other option. Okay, system does not know whether I filed within the return within the due date or not. I'll just go and claim it. But there is a cross checking. What is the loss for the current last year, and what is the due date for filing the returns, whether the returns is filed within the due date or not. So in that way, they'll cross check both and then make it as a addition. So this, be careful while filing the return of income. Ensure there should not be any arithmetical errors and there should not be any incorrect claim. And there was people have started claiming a bogus expenses and claim the refunds, and that has become a lot of issues. And then ensure 26 AS and ITR should match. If any 26 AS credit which you are not declaring it as the income, ensure that should be disclosed under TDS schedule of the IT returns. And then disallowance of expenditure, because what is reported in the tax audit report and what is disclosed in the ITR, ensure both should match. And then the losses, when you are filed the returns within the due date, claim it, otherwise don't claim. All this till here it was happening, just it is only a processing and issue the returns and process and issue whether refunds or not. So but going forward, they made it as there are a lot of changes on this. Incorrect claim also will lead to a penalties, that I'll cover it in the penalties topic. So if any proposed adjustment 143(1)A issued by the department on these grounds, ensure you should submit within the due date, either 15 days or 30 days of time, so that the return will get processed. They will consider all these your submissions. Normally, if you made a mistake in the ITR and the tax audit report disclosure, give the clear clarification. This is only a disclosure error, and assessee is in the process of filing the rectified ITR or revised tax audit report. But unfortunately, the filing the rectified returns and rectified ITR tax audit report portal is not enabled, but earlier portal it has that. Yeah. And 143(3). Here, I don't take much of time. Here 143(2), because we should cover a major topic on under assessment itself. Scrutiny assessment, when it is selected, very clearly explained under section 143(2), what is the basis of selection of scrutiny. An income tax return has been filed under section 139. or in response to an income tax notice issued under section 142(1). Means there is a notice, you have not filed the returns. There, one more scenario, you file the returns within the due date. And that is okay, very clear. Second one you see, that is a beauty of this section. The assessing officer or income tax authorities deems it necessary or expedite to ensure that the taxpayer has not understated the income, or has not computed excessive loss, or has not underpaid income tax in any manner. So assessing officer feels that you declared the less income, or you claimed excessive loss, or you paid low taxes. On that ground also they can go for selection of your scrutiny. These all are selection criteria at CPC. Like now it is a national faceless assessment scheme. I'll come to that next slides. Then best judgment assessment. The moment if you see the word section 144 best judgment assessment, you can able to understand best judgment. I can judge what is what. So like assessing officer on the below scenarios, the assessee fails to furnish returns under section 139(9), or fails to comply with the notice and the directions issued under section 142(1) or 142(2)(a). Like assessing officer has a right, yes, now Kanti, you didn't file the return of income, please file that. I have not complied it. I am having a taxable income, but still I have not filed under 139(1). Or during the course of assessment proceedings, my case is sent for the special audit purpose, section 142(2)(a), special audit directions, but still I have not complied and failed to comply to the notice issued under section 143(2). So assessing officer has use all the weapons, like 139(1), whether client has filed, no, assessee has not filed the returns. Have you issued 142(1), yes, whether he is responded, no. And special audit directions you had given, whether assessee is responded, no. And whether you served the scrutiny notice, whether he is responded, no. So in these situations, assessing officer does not have any authority to do. So he can't do anything. So best judgment. So the based on the available data, if return is filed, he'll take the return. Or 285BA, there is a very good section is there. So that specified financial transactions, there may be a bank would have reported, or a sub-registrar would have reported, and various stock exchange or mutual fund allottees. There are various sections, so it mandates to file. So any of the data which is available on the assessment records, means with the hands of the assessing officer, he'll just pass the order, best judgment assessment order. 147, it is only just income escaping assessment. There are various scenarios. Here also, assessing officer is reason to believe there is a income escapement. So even if assessing officer feels there is an income escapement, assessee will get a notice. So, but there are various conditions where no return of income has been furnished by the assessee, even though he has a income exceeding basic exemption limit. So assessing officer can select these cases under reassessment. Yes, now Kant has a basic income more than based exemption exemption limit, but still return is not filed. If he missed the 143(2), but with the prior approval of the principal commissioner and with the necessary approvals, he can select the case for the 147. That is first limb. Then second one, where no assessment has been made, but is noticed by the assessing officer that the assessee has understated the income, or has claimed excessive loss or deduction or allowances or relief in the return of income. This is more or less 143(1). If 143(1), if you missed it, still they may catch hold of you under 147 under the reassessment proceedings. And then where the assessee has failed to furnish a report in respect of any international transaction which he was so required under section 92E of the Income Tax Act. So there are international transactions, but still assessee has not furnished the 3CEB report, then still it can be punished. And where a person is found to have an asset located outside India. So if any assets is situated outside India, assessing officer can go back to the 16 years to reopen the case. And then after receipt of the documents or information prescribed under section 133C, like this is a very good weapon to the department. Assessing officer has lost all the rights, like 143 one time limit is over, 143 two time limit is over, 147 time limit is over, but 133 6 it is a survey and inquiring. There is no time limit. He can go back and he can ask. So after receipt of the documents or information or prescribed under section 133C, it is noticed by the assessing officer that the income of the assessee exceeds the maximum amount not chargeable to tax, or as the case may be. So it is all of the above, like his gross total income is exceeding basic exemption limit, or he might be claiming excessive loss, he might be claiming additional benefits, but he is claiming a deductions, he has not filed the returns in all those scenarios. And this is last one is previous slide, Abhishek. Here assessment is completed already, where an assessment has been made, but income is chargeable to less. Means it is not, there is no stoppage, there is no bar on the assessing officer. Just because 143.1 and 143.3 assessment completed and there is no stoppage, still he can go back and redo the assessment. So this is the scenario where an assessment has been made, but income chargeable to tax has been under assessed, or such income has been assessed at too low at rate. Such income has been made the subject of excessive relief under the Income Tax Act, or excessive loss or depreciation allowances or any. So in any of the categories, blindly we should understand, yes, assessment is completed, income is low or low tax is paid, or it is not disclosed properly in the, even if it is assessed, still assessing authorities have a power to reassess your case. And then this is assessments over a period. First, initially it was manual selection of scrutiny. I'm in Bangalore, my client is in Vijayawada. If the file is selected for scrutiny, I don't have any exclusions. There is no excuse for me for submission. I personally should go to the Vijayawada officer and present all my documents for verification. Irrespective, not only Vijayawada, Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, wherever the case gets selected for scrutiny, we don't have any option. Just we should go there, present all our documentation, submissions, and meet the authorities and explain what is what and complete the proceedings. And that was the scenario till I can say 2016, and last year also it is happened. 2016 year, why it is like 16-17 assessment year onwards, it is started E-Assessments. So till that time, almost some 40-50 years, we were doing all manual assessments, irrespective of the location of the client, assessing officer jurisdiction. We used to go there and meet the authorities, submit and get the rectification, get the orders and come back. Slowly they've started computer aided selection of cases for scrutiny. So their computers will start at selection of scrutinies, CASS. There again, they've given limited scrutiny and complete scrutiny. So there also, they don't have any option. If the limited scrutiny, the assessing officer is bound to request only those those areas, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line items. The reason is selected for scrutiny 1, 2, 3, 4. Assessing officer is bound to complete assessment only in that areas. And beyond those numbers, if he wanted to go, he should take the principal commissioner, prior approval of the principal commissioner, and select for those cases, means convert this limited scrutiny into complete scrutiny and complete the assessments. And later they made it as E-assessments. Assessment year 16, 17, 17, 18, all those was there as a E-assessment scheme. If you remember under old portal, even now also is a E-assessment tab is there. Top corner, there is a E-assessments tab. Under that, if you go, there you can see what all the years there is a notices and which year selected for scrutiny, what is the pending assessments. So there you can go and submit the documents here in the portal, like E-assessments, email assessments. You go and submit the documents in the portal, but still you are submitting to the jurisdictional officer, not to the other person. Same manual also you are submitting to the jurisdictional officer. E-assessments is also you are submitting to the jurisdictional officer, but only a change. There you are submitting all the physical papers, and here you are submitting all different like in the portal we are submitting, not a different excuse. So the same jurisdiction, same authority, same work we are completing. And here National Assessment Center, National E-Assessment Center, and this is altogether different. It's a dynamic jurisdiction. Here also the documents will be submitting in the portal, but still I don't know whom I'm submitting. I don't know who is the officer. But under E-assessments, I'm submitting in the portal, but still I know who is my jurisdiction officer. But still I know whom I'm communicated. But still I know whom I'm talking. But under National Faceless Assessment Scheme, you don't know, you don't have any clue. So that is how it works. So this is all the assessments over a period: manual, then E-assessments, email assessments, and then national faceless assessments. So this, we can say it is a dynamic jurisdiction. Next slide. What is the reason behind to make it as a like this digital dynamic jurisdiction? It is India is moving towards a digital India. You can say Aadhaar is digital, Startup India is a digital, Yivahan, any passport, whatever you want, even DigiLocker, everything has become only the one stop for like digital India. You need not to carry any documents. And the income tax department. So it is followed in the same way. Yes, this is a chart how the Indian income tax department has become a digitalization mode. First 2006, still I've not started joined. I think 2006 or 2007. That time I decided to join in CA. That is the first year they made it as e-filing of ETDS returns and income tax returns for the company is compulsory filing the e-returns. And then e-filing of income tax returns is mandatory for all assessees 2013. So they took 7 years. And then 2015, see the beauty here. 2015 introduced e-proceedings on a pilot basis in a various metro cities. And there is only a 2 years gap. And the next 2 years, they come up with the e-proceedings extended to other cities and option provided to assessee to opt out from the such schemes. And then formal announcement of assessment made in 2008. They made it as e-assessments mandatory. Excuse me, just I'll join 1 minute. Yeah, sorry. Then 2018, they introduced the e-assessment scheme. And then 2019 budget, they made it as for the assessment year 18-19 cases, they made it as e-assessment scheme. They've selected more than 58,000 cases and started completing the assessments through digital mode. And then 2020 budget, the August 13, the Honorable Finance Minister and Prime Minister and the Finance Ministry, they've announced that they're going to implement the faceless assessment scheme. So this is how the Indian Income Tax Department has moved, and this is the procedure we like. I just made it. What is the changes? Like, what is the major changes under e-assessments and national faceless assessments and assessments under manual? There may not be any change, like mode of service of notices, as we discussed, either post or through courier or registered address through post. They used to send it, and later e-assessments, they will send it to the registered email IDs. And then national e-assessment, faceless assessments, they made it as email ID, or they'll send it through mobile messages, they will send it. And physical appearance, yes, under manual is there. E-assessments, assessing officer, if requires, even though if I submit assessment documents through a website, still officer can call, sir, can you come to department and visit, submit the physical documents, still that option is there. And faceless assessment, that option is no more. And mode of submission, paper mode, and e-assessments and faceless assessment as usual online. Whom we are reporting is like jurisdictional officer under manual system, and e-assessments jurisdictional officer but through online submission, and national faceless assessments will be submitting through online, but we don't know whom we are discussing. And type of assessments, all assessments are covered in the manual, including search cases and international taxation cases. And e-assessments also is all more or less all covered, but national faceless assessment scheme, there is clear exclusions also is there, but currently it is covered only 143.3, 144 and 147 proceedings are covered. And here the major change I can say, order. In the manual assessment, assessing officer will draft the assessment order and he'll give it you, this is your final assessment order. Under e-assessments, there also more or less it is a manual, but it will happen in the email. There also they'll just give the order. But in the national faceless assessment scheme, they'll give the first draft assessment order to you. Don't get confused with the TP draft assessment order. If any one of you dealing with the draft assessments, TP transactions, that draft assessment order is different and this draft assessment order is different. Before finalizing the assessment order, the assessing officer will prepare the draft order and then give it to you, show cause notice. I'm going to pass this kind of order. Will you agree or not? So we'll submit that, our submissions, whether it is agreeing or not. If there is any additions, either way we'll go and give that these are the changes. And if there are no changes, if the same written income they are accepting, even if you submit or not submitting to the order, there is no change. So then based on your submissions, assessing officer like national faceless assessment authorities will send you the final assessment order. So here the major change only the draft assessment order. Only that draft assessment order will comes to you first. Then only you'll get a final assessment order. And 5th October, there was a case is pronounced, Neeraj Raket or something. The assessing officer has not given the show cause video conferencing. They accepted everything in the system. They completed under national faceless assessment scheme. But assessing officer given the video conferencing, but he did not give the like password to log into the video conferencing. The assessment order is quashed and today it is reported, 5th October dated assessment order. It is favorable to the assessee. The Kolkata High Court did not go into the deep of the facts. They just took only these grounds and then quashed the assessment order to provide the sufficient opportunity of being heard and then complete the assessment. And then to complete this e-assessments, the department should have some background work. So I can say it's a 4-pillar approach, like how we have north, east, west, south. So in the same way, department also is divided into 4 pillars. Pillar 1 first is the project insight, and then data exchanging between various things, and e-assessments under their team-based assessment approach, faceless and anonymous, and platform for the transparent taxation, and then virtual hearings. This is how the department, income tax department, is going to function. We'll see each one by one how it is going to affect. So it is a project insight. It's a big data analysis. So I can say it's a 360-degree approach of the taxpayer. Pillar 1. Abhishek, next slide. Here, big data analytics will happen. Like income is mapping via business value chain, GST reporting. So the department has a data with respect to, because PAN and GST number, your GST number is based on the PAN number only. And then audit trail of high value transactions, real estate or luxury car you are having, or anything that may be anything like high value transactions you might have seen very recently. They've started issuing the notices, and then deducting spending pattern vice versa as a income. You are not filing the return of income, but still you are paying a credit card bill of 2,50,000 in a year, or in a month 2.5 lakhs you are paying, and you are traveling foreign, but there is no income tax return is filed. So then and then flagging of high risk filers, though returns is not filed by the authorities, many situations. And risk based assessment, redefining the parameters and data driven and various. So the big data analysis is happening in the department, I can say. And it is one of the experience again here, big data analytics. All these days, if you travel by flight, it was able to capture, and if you go by sea, it will able to capture, and if you travel by road, it was not capturing. Now because of the fast tag, your vehicle where it is moving, the department can get to know. So there are various checkpoints, and that is all because of the digital move. And then major source, second pillar I can say to the income tax department, it is a data exchange. Data exchange between they've entered into various foreign countries, and then here MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and then SEBI can exchange the data, and GST team, they can exchange the data with the DT, and it's a vice versa. It is not only DT team will take, it is not like DT interchange between all that. And they've given them MSME registrations, data exchange to identify taxpayer classified as a MSME to prevent incentive measures. And then banks, mutual funds, houses, other linkage, and any data if you see, it is linked. Once if you enter your Aadhaar and PAN, you'll get entire history of the assessees. So each assessees. So this is how the data exchange system. So the first one is a data analytics, and the second one is big data data exchanging. And the third pillar is they've introduced faceless assessment scheme, and then faceless appeals, and taxpayers charter, honoring the honest taxpayer. This was announced in 13th August, and as soon as it is completed, announcement is completed, immediately they've got instructions, all the CBDT members and IT authorities, stating that we are going to implement as a faceless assessment scheme, irrespective of the stage of assessment states. So that is how that has happened. And the last pillar I can say, as we are moving towards digital, it's a virtual hearings. We don't know what is happening everywhere. So initially it was conventional courtroom, and be the previous slide. It was courtroom was like this, and now it has become as a virtual proceedings. Example, the members are joined across the place, various places, and Vijayawada branch is conducting. I'm taking from the outside Vijayawada. So it is like virtual. So earlier it was only a physical, so conventional courtroom. So everybody used to go there and present the case and come back. And now everything is happening in the virtual manner. So faceless CIT appeals and DRP hearings, ITAT and High Court, Supreme Court, everything. But is there any change in the method? There is no change in that. What is the protocols like? Go to the next slide. Here you see that virtual hearings. Is there any change for the manual? No. There should be a guidelines like submission procedure, documentation criteria, and consent for video conferencing hearing and physical submissions through post nomenclature. And then infrastructure we should have. Only the one precondition is we should have adequate internet bandwidth and hardware facilities, strong connectivity to present the cases, and inform mode of connecting computer, mobile, or whatever the mode. And then etiquette. Just because we are submitting through like we are going it through as a virtual, is there any change? No, there is no change. We should follow the same quorum, etiquette, and dress code, decorum, and seating arrangement, everything as usual. What was there in a normal mode, it will be there in the current system. Yes, we are moving as a digital India and digital era. We are going to talk to only the systems. But how do I suggest my clients in the faceless assessment schemes? We should have some knowledge about that. So again, here I chose the 4-stage approach. Here, pre-assessment preparedness. And first, you should understand how the faceless assessment proceedings will get over. And then post-assessment, how to suggest the clients, whether should go for the CIT or DRP or appeals, rectifications, there may be anything. And then faceless appeals. So here first I should prepare for the case. Second one, again, I should tell what is the methodology, how to proceed, and then implement post processing. What is the methodology I can adopt? Rectification, reassessment, anything it is. Appeal, DRP, CIT levels, and faceless appeal process. So what do you mean by like a pre-assessment stage? It is like first we should have wide knowledge about the assessor's business. If you're not having assessor's business, if you don't know about the business, nature of business, you may not be able to give best to your all assessors. And ensure, advise all your clients to follow all the compliances very diligently. And there are many line items I'll not run through, but I'll be sharing this PPT for you for a reference. So first is knowledge. We should be aware about that and ensure all assessees will be following all diligently the compliances, and ensure they should comply with the tedious provisions, 26 AS and GST returns cancellations, and tax audit report and transfer pricing report study, and what is the disclosures, how it is disclosed. So if you see all those, we'll get one idea about the business. Then only you are able to better present before the authorities. All these years, even if I'm not knowing anything, we'll go to the officer and present the documents, explain the proceedings and come back. But now we are going to talk to the systems. and we don't know how the systems is going to receive. So that is where it is stuck. So under technical aspects, this is the second pillar, I can say. How the faceless assessment scheme will work. First, we should understand who are the authorities involved in the faceless assessments and what is their powers and roles and responsibilities, and then understand the profile of the officers. But still, even though we don't know officers, but still how the review unit, there are how the e-assessment faceless ecosystem is there, I'll take those in detail. But here we should understand, yes, who is involved, commissioner or JCIT or CIT, just to understand, and then gaining knowledge about the industry same, that will help you to submit in a detailed submissions, and assessing the non-compliance under various legislations and the ramifications. We should identify and give the solution before submitting to the portal. Once if you submit the document in the system, you can't take it back. Till you submit the documentation and presentation, you can do a number of changes, reconciliations, and ensure that the returns books all one and the same. And assessing the need for and requesting personal hearings through video conferencing. As I mentioned, the assessing officer failed to give the video conferencing facility PIN. So the assessment order is quashed. If you're not aware of that, you should follow the CIT route, pay the 20% of penalty, stay, and get the stay. And then if you lose in the CIT, go to the tribunal, High Court, Supreme Court. The proceedings will never end. But still, we should know, yes, if the proceedings is not completed through video conferencing, if I'm not getting the due procedure is not followed, yes, I have a right to question. And preparing and filing the submissions. All these days, we were just submitting 1 page or 2 page or some bunch of documents. Now it is irrelevant. The content, what quality of the documents you are going to submit, that is more important rather than the documents you are going to submit. And review of the draft assessment orders, and submit suitable objections against to the draft assessment order, and get the appropriate orders. So this is how the procedure. If you are not aware of this procedure, we may not suggest our clients in a day-to-day manner. And the third pillar, what I'm choosing is technical aspects of post-assessment stage. Yes, all you followed due process, but assessment order is against to the assessee. I'm just taking a worst scenario. Like if it is a clean order, there may not be any other actions to be taken. So in a worst scenario, we always, as a representative, we always think to get a clean orders, but in a extreme circumstances that may lead to the to get a like additions. In that, first we should carefully read the assessment orders and address them. Was there any mistake in the assessment order? So can we suggest assessees, can we go to the CIT appeal or DRP and file appeal with the technical and substantive issues? Just like that, we can't go and submit appeal just because additions is made. Until unless you have a data to substantiate those additions, you can't do the additions appeals. And to file submissions like rectifications or appeal, we may not get a favorable in the rectifications, but that is only one of the methodology to postpone your tax liabilities. If there is any tax demand is appearing in the assessment order 143.3, read with 156 demand notice, we have a right, if any rectification requires to be submit, till disposal of the rectification application, assessing officer does not have right to ask you to pay the 20% of demands as well, even though if you are in appeal. So this is a Karnataka High Court judgment. I'll share that. So this is only a methodology. and stay of demands, and appropriate submissions for the penalty initiated by the assessment during the assessment proceedings, strategizing on the prosecution proceedings, if any. All these days there was no prosecution proceedings were initiated by the authorities, and it is a very good weapon in the assessing officers. Right now assessing officers does not have much of assessment role, but in future we may going to see a lot of wide range of prosecution proceedings, but we don't know. So all these days there was no prosecution proceedings till date, and then majority of these process would be in a faceless manner. So these all, either assessments will be a faceless, appeals also will be a faceless, DRP also is a faceless, CIT also is a faceless. So our motto is to get a clean orders, and that means documentation should be perfect, then the outcome will come automatic. And then technical aspects, appeal stage. So this is the fourth stage. Until unless you have a thorough understanding of the business, you can't do justice in the appeal. So first we should understand the business model and frame the grounds to submit the appeal. Means justify the additions made by the authorities, and follow the SOPs issued by the appellate administrative authorities, including the dress code, and prepare and submit the crisp submissions before the hearing to make the hearing effective. Submit the required supporting documents in advance. So these are the major issues you should concentrate on the fourth stage, because it is relating to appeal. I'm not dealing in detail of the appeal procedures. The section 246 A itself is altogether, it is different. So that one section is enough to take one big session, one day session. So let us not go into that. So this is one more fourth stage, I can say. And now in the 2019 E-assessments, when they've started, they made a national E-assessment center, a national faceless assessment center in Delhi, that is a headquarter. Initially, they've started 8 regional assessment centers, and now they've increased to 40 or 43 right now. I'm not sure exact the number, but they've across this across the India they've introduced. This is how the e-assessment scheme is come into picture. And then what do you mean by e-assessment? It is only just email assessment. You'll get a proceedings through email, submissions through email, and assessment order also you'll get it in assessment through email. So either way, there is no much difference in the e-assessment and manual assessment. We are just submitting the documents through portal and we are getting the assessment orders finally. But it is not, does not have any impact on that. But how it is going to look, the notices, you might have seen the notices, how it looks like, just highlighted. It is like National E-Assessment Center, that is the notice is issued. And here this is the e-assessment provisions. Notice issued under section 143(2), read with section 143(3)(a) and 3(3)(b) of the Income Tax Act. So e-assessment notices is notified, e-assessment scheme is notified under section 143(3)(a) and 3(b). That is how the law is started. And go to the next slide, Abhishek. We'll rush through this. Here it is a major one, faceless assessment scheme. Under the faceless assessment scheme, initially in the 2019, 13th August 2020, it's everything is a faceless assessments. In the 2019 Finance Act, it is introduced, and for the assessment year 2018-19, they've selected around 58,322 cases across the India and started shooting out the notices. In fact, I still remember during 2019 Dasara, and Dasara day also we have uploaded from our office like against 143 submissions. Failing to submission, that may lead to the penalty. So we ensured to submit on the same day, on or before the notice dated. Then in the 2019 like assessment year 18-19 cases is selected, and if any assessments is completed till before 31st March, it is fine. After 1/4/2021, everything under faceless assessments. So till 31st March 2021, you might have attended several hearings. You might have submitted enormous documents. Irrespective, order has not come. You can't do anything. You should have to go to the faceless assessment scheme. So assessment proceedings are initiated. You made a submissions. You given the documents, but still order has not come before 31st March 2021. So from the 1/4/2021, you should go back to the same officer. May ask the same questions or he may not ask the same questions, but as internal information, the 3 years data is already made available to the national faceless assessment scheme, it seems. So hope, as we are seeing on day-to-day income tax portal, it is not showing the old data. And as per the records and as per the internal information from the department, I got, they said, yes, for last 3 years data, it has been provided to national faceless assessment authorities. Hope so. I'll like almost some 1.5 year onwards, if I meet any officer, they used to tell we are busy with the reporting. I hope maybe this is only the reporting they'll be busy and to provide the data to the national faceless assessment. And one thing we should appreciate, this national faceless assessment scheme has not introduced it in a day or two. These initiated 2016-17 assessment, and 17-18 they made a rapid pilot versions, and 2018-19 they made it as a mandatory. So they've already done enough research and they've done enough analysis on this, and then only they've started implementing. And 144B deals with the national faceless assessment scheme. Here majorly we'll see national faceless assessment scheme and regional faceless assessment center, sorry, not scheme, centers, NFAC and RFAC. These are the two, I can say, National Faceless Assessment Center is a face of the income tax department. All these days, wherever they're sitting and working in each cities, that irrelevant. So I can say the National Faceless Assessment Center is going to a face of Indian income tax department, and the regional faceless assessment centers will head the department of audit, like assessment. So we'll see how it is structured. For this slide, I'll take some time to explain in detail. The entire national faceless assessment scheme is pictured in this table. See, you see this, it's a national faceless assessment center, headquarters at Delhi. National Faceless Assessment Center will issue the notices, sorry, not issue, service of notices to whom? Taxpayer. And in turn to that notice, taxpayer will submit. To whom he'll submit? National Faceless Assessment Center again. Then National Faceless Assessment Center is going to this to submit the data. Means the cases is going to assign to the assessment unit. This is called the regional assessment centers here. So NFAC only will assign, and assessee also will get a notice from the NFAC. Then assessee will submit to NFAC. Then NFAC will assign to assessment unit. After getting a allotment of that case, there is no criteria. The NFAC is in Delhi, client is in Vijayawada. That case may assign to Bangalore officer or EAC or Hyderabad, Vizag, Mumbai, anywhere it is. Or Mumbai cases may come to Vijayawada. We don't know how the allotment system is going to, but National Faceless Assessment Center only is going to allot the cases. After allotting, assessment unit can approach the taxpayer No, they can't approach the taxpayer. What they should do? They should verify the data, what is submitted, and then they'll request for technical or verification assistance. Here, the National Faceless Assessment System has provided one exception to the verification unit. So, assessment unit request to the National Faceless Assessment Center, I need some clarifications on the data is provided by the assessee, or I need technical assistant on the data provided by the assessee. So then, in turn, National E-Assessment Center, even assessment unit, review unit, verification unit, technical unit, they don't have authority to exchange the information. Everything should route it through National Faceless Assessment Center itself. So whatever the request made by the assessment unit, they will make a request for providing report to the verification unit. To provide that request for, technical assistant may require. So again, National Faceless Assessment only will communicate to the technical unit. From there, whatever the data they received from the verification unit or technical unit, then NEAC will go and submit to the assessment unit. Based on the assessment, based on the data received from the technical unit, verification unit, or review unit may not come now. Verification unit and technical unit, assessment officer, assessment unit will prepare a draft assessment order. After preparing the draft assessment order, to whom it is going to submit? Not again to the anyone, assessee and other units. Directly it will go and give it to National Faceless Assessment Center. Yes, so after submitting the draft assessment order, whether the proceedings is going to end? No. The draft assessment order, the National Faceless Assessment Center, we are in 8 serial number. Now I'll go to the 9. So the final assessment or provide show cause notice to the taxpayer. And then from there, it will go to the assign and review unit. 1 minute.
Yes, friends, the speaker will join in 1 minute. Meantime, our chairman has already shared the information about the future programs of our branch. I think the 18th and 19th and 2021, we are having the GST seminar, which is organized by the our Indirect Taxes Committee and hosting by the Vijayawada branch. Please plan that. And in addition to that, in 29th, 30th, we are having the seminar regarding to the students. This is a national conference for the students. Is virtually going to be organized with the Vijayawada branch, hosting by the Vijayawada branch, organized by the Board of Studies of or ICI. And please be motivate your students at your end, and please be join that students at large and grant success to that program also. Thank you. And yes, speaker sir, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So once they get a draft assessment order, they will issue the final the order to the taxpayer for providing the show cause notice, and then the same draft assessment order they will send it to the review unit, stating that please verify this assessment order, whether the assessment unit is drafted, is it correct or wrong, or any modifications is required. Based on the review unit, they may concur, like suggest modifications, or they may accept it. If they wanted to make any changes or modifications to the assessment order, again, these proceedings will go to the assessment unit. They will make a changes internally and then give it to the National Faceless Assessment Center. From their final assessment order, it will go to the assessing. But before that, they'll give us show cause notice, means they can provide assistance, like against the draft assessment order, assessing authority, like taxpayer can submit their counter arguments. No, the document what is provided is clearly explains that the proposed addition is wrong. So he can give the counter argument. So again, those documents will go to the NEAC, from there to assessment unit for the verification. This is how entire structure. After considering the show cause notice documents and the review unit document, then only the final order will come to the assessing authorities. Then here, if you see that technical unit and review unit, here as usual, all of us is not like very enriched with each subject. So that is the reason they identified verification unit and then technical unit and review unit, assessment unit. So they all of them, they'll exchange data, verify the data, and then only pass the final orders. I can say it is one way it is good, but one way it may not good. We'll see what is positives and what is negatives about the assessments in the subsequent slides. Yeah, this is how the e-assessment ecosystem will run. So the taxpayer will be there, national faceless assessment centers will be there, and then regional assessment like under regional assessment centers, assessment unit, verification unit, and technical unit will be there. So no way it is connected to the assessee to the other units or other units to the assessees. So we have clear picture that there is no exchange of information or there is no communication from the other units to the assessee, taxpayer, we can say. So this is how the various units, assessment unit, verification unit, technical unit, and review unit. We'll see what they do, each unit, assessment unit, what they do, verification unit, technical and review unit in a subsequent slides. And what is the role of National E-Assessment Center? It is a face of the department, Indian Income Tax Department, and then they will collect the data from the taxpayers and coordinate with the assessment unit and various other units and provide the assistant in both the, like it's an interface between taxpayers and other unit to complete the assessments in a smooth and efficient manner. Go to the next slide. Yeah, assessment unit. It is similarly like if you see the last previous manual assessments or e-assessment proceedings, it is simple. Once if I go and submit the documents with the assessing authorities, what they will do, they'll verify the data like balance sheet, tax audit report, ITR, and tax computations. They'll pose the questions like whatever the issues were there. Like, yes, I wanted clarification with respect to share allotment. I wanted clarification with respect to expenses debited to P&L account. I wanted a clarification with respect to what is income, like workings, TDS complied with that or not. So various questions under 142.1 they will issue the notice. Here there is no change in that. Here also you'll get a notice under 142.1 for calling various data. Some offices may ask only 2-3 questions. Some offices may ask 200 questions. We don't know. The most one of the assessee in very recently last September or October, I got 45 questions for one of the assessee. We don't have any other option, but they made it as one A, B, C, D. B, 2, A, B, C, D. So like that they made it. So all over, if you see entire thing, it is a 60-65 questions, but still it is not completed. So that may increase the number. Yeah. Uh, yes. Here verification units. In the verification units, like as I mentioned, verification unit alone has a right to coordinate with the assessees, but not in the form of assessment proceedings. With the prior approval of the Joint Commissioner of Income Tax, he'll go and inquiry for the assessment as authorities. He'll ask the inquiry and he'll cross verification. He'll examine the books. Take example of Reliance Industries. Is it possible to submit all the books of accounts in a paperless mode? No. Assume one of the assessees sitting in a Tamil Nadu, like assessee sitting in a Vijayawada, but he has a lands in Tamil Nadu, but the documentation is in English, Tamil. Being sitting in a Bangalore or Vijayawada or somewhere, will I know how to read Tamil or how to read like vice versa, Telugu or English? We don't. English is a common, but the different languages it is a different. So based on that, internally again through NESC, they can ask the as verification unit to go and inquire, issue 133 notice, like 133.6. There is no time limit. They can issue any time and anywhere. So he'll inquire, he'll cross verification, examine the books of accounts, and examine of witness, like in that area, what is happening in that, and like, and recording of statements. So he'll make a summary and he'll go and present again to the National Faceless Assessment Center. And then National Faceless Assessment Center will go and give it to the assessment unit. But irrespective of the assessment proceedings, nobody will know it is relating to your assessment. But I would have done any transactions with the other party, the verification unit go and ask other party in relation to my assessment. So it is internal understanding, but they functioning very well. And as we see, there are some problems in that. It's a teething problem. Initial for everything, it is a problem initially. And 1 or 2 years down the line, we are going to see very beautiful assessments without visiting to the departments, I can say. Yeah, go to that next one. And the technical unit. What does the technical unit does? As I mentioned, I may not be expert in FEMA. I may not be expert in GST, but I know income tax. But being a assessee, it doesn't matter. He should comply with the FEMA, he should comply with the GST, he should comply with everything. In that situation, so being assessing officer, I don't know the FEMA or I don't know GST, whom to contact. So there is a specific one team is assigned. Is called the technical unit. In the technical unit, they what they do, their job is only just providing the technical assistance, which includes any assistance or advice on legal, accounting, forensic, information technology or valuation, transfer pricing, data analytics, management, anything. There is nobody knows all 100% everything. So that is the reason technical unit will help us. And then review unit. And in entire faceless assessment system, the review unit is going to face a very vital role. I can say how it is. You got an assessment order. You'll go to the CIT or DRP. First and foremost, will tell assessment order is not a speaking order. With that argument itself, we'll get a clean orders. So now, because of this review unit, the department may come out from this, but they'll strengthen the assessment orders. So the litigation is going to increase in future. So review unit, what they do, review of the draft assessment order includes checking whether the relevant and material evidences has been brought to the record, or whether the relevant points of the facts and the law have been duly incorporated in the draft order, or whether the issues on which addition or disallowances should be made have been discussed in the draft order, whether the applicable jurisdiction judicial decisions have been considered or not. So various aspects they will verify, and then they'll keep cross checking the data. So they'll ensure the final outcome of the order should be a perfect one. Yeah, this is whether assessee has a right to opt out from the E proceedings, like faceless assessments. There is no option. Earlier, E-assessment scheme, like email assessment, if you log into the income tax portal, if you there is a next to the notice there was an option to opt out, but under E-assessment it is a mandatory. There is no option to opt out. And then this is already covered, and this is what I'm referring, one section 144b bracket 9. If any assessment which is completed till 31st March 2021, well and good, irrespective of the number of hearings. And if the assessment is not completed at that time, you don't have any other option. Under faceless assessment scheme, you should cover. And even if you completed 10 hearings and 10 set of documents you submitted, still you should go and submit from the day one again, like from the first hearing onwards. This is little painful, but we don't have any option for this. Yes, all this time we were discussing about everything will does through National Faceless Assessment scheme. So National Faceless Assessment System itself will do everything. What is the assessing officer will do then? Typically, the assessing officer has a role to collect the tax demands, pass the rectification orders, order giving effect, and proposal for initiating the prosecution proceedings. Till now, this is what I was referring. There was no option to I didn't see many of the prosecution notices which is initiated by the authorities. Maybe the senior CAs would have seen already. But in my tenure of these 10 years of experience, I've not seen many, only one or two have seen. But this is a very good weapon to the assessing officers, jurisdictional assessing officer especially. I think we are going to get a lot of prosecution notices, provided assessing officer should have used this and have knowledge about the prosecution proceedings. And okay, officer will do that, like rectification and order giving effect. But what we should do, in which way we can suggest clients? First and foremost, go and suggest all your clients to update contact details and mail IDs of the clients, not the assessee, not the auditors. The reason is as per the Information Technology Act, the service of notice through email is covered as a service of notices, section 288 282b, service of notices will cover as per the Information Technology Act. If the notice is served through email, that is also confirmed. So if the notice is come to the auditor, and after 2 years or 3 years down the line, if the client is not relating to you, or client is no more with us, then what do you do? So please go and change all the contact details and email IDs, irrespective of the client. He may be paying you 1 lakh or 10 lakhs or crore of money, irrespective. Follow the due methodology, change the contact details and email ID, and then this may be a silly to get a good scanning equipment for the office. Till last year, we were depending on the Xerox machines or printers to print the documents and go and hand it over the documents to the authorities. But now it is changed, dynamic jurisdictions. So we should go and submit all the documents through soft copies. So it is time for all of us to get a very good scanning equipment in our offices, and scanning should be a properly and readable to the assessing authorities, and it should not create any kind of issues to them while reading. And then ensure all clients inform you immediately on receipt of the notices, irrespective of any communication. That may be a 143(1)(a) or 143(1) or confirmation for filing the documents, IT return. Ensure the each mail, whatever the department communication it is there to the client, should reach to the representative or auditors, and prepare and submit prompt replies to all the notices. And like as I mentioned earlier, I'll just go to the assessing officer and give some documents and give the information and come out. Now we don't have that option. Prepare each and every document, have thorough knowledge about the submissions and what question authorities is asking. You should have thorough knowledge and how you should counter for each and every question. Be careful and be cautious. And our motto is take up the appeals and seriously to win the cases. If I lose the in this stage assessment level, my next motto is to meet authorities and higher up with the appellate authorities to get a favorable order. That is only the motto. And these are the basic very key points. I just wanted to go a little fast, like it's only a key points, like while uploading what precautions you should take. Assume there is a notice, there are 1 2 3 4 5 line, like 10 questions are there, but you don't have the data for all the 10 questions. You have only the 5 questions. Don't wait for compiling all the 10 questions. You make it for or only 5. Use the word as a choose as a partial submission. So like that you start submitting. Once all next balance 5 questions is submitted, make it as full response. And there is a character restrictions is there in the dialog box. Once you log into the portal, against to the notice, you can give only character restrictions like 4,000 characters, and attachment description should be properly should give. And then go to the next one. And each file size should be 5 MB, but you can attach 10 submissions, like 10 documents at a time. And then while you are selecting each, like as I mentioned, make a proper file name, and upload the document by document, and each document should not exceed 5 MB. Yes. What are the benefits to the through faceless assessments? Ease of compliance for the taxpayers, and there is no human interface to the assesses. Like I don't know whom I'm contacting, and assessing officer also don't know which with whom he's interacting. So he's routing everything through national faceless assessment. And transparency and efficiency. And I didn't feel like every officer is involved in a like other transactions, but either way, just because 1 or 2 officers entire country has changed, but which is very good welcome approach. That is transparency and efficiency and functional specialization. As I mentioned, it is not like it is not restricted to my assume I'm a jurisdictional officer for the exemption ward from over a period of 10 years. Now, when any assessment unit, I'll be a member in that assessment or technical unit. If any query relating to assessment of exempted units, I can go and present that. So I'll take, if I'm doing assessment of company circle, I'll go and take technical assistance from the one more authorities. I'll go and take from the review authorities. And then quality of assessment is increasing and risk based, and these all are better monitoring thing. And this may not delay our completing of assessment. If you see over a period of time, it is keep reducing the time limits for issuing of notices and completing the assesses. Yes. Is there any challenges? Of course, for every positive there is a negatives as well. Here I can say, like assessment at manual proceedings. I can take example, today is the hearing. I can go after 2 days. I'll go and represent the case on Monday, but I'll sign the note sheet as if appeared on Saturday, means Friday or Saturday. And then that is one. And the next biggest challenge, in spite of meeting the officer and explaining all the data properly, still few officers could not able to understand the transaction and making the crazy additions. But what if, even though functional assessment, technical assessment, review unit, will it come as a proper assessment? We may have to wait and watch. And but definitely these all the silly mistakes, like submission of just one line replies or submission of XYZ document instead of ABC document, these all may lead to uh, enormous number of additions, and litigation may go up in very future. We don't know. Yeah, next. And this is the notification and CBDT circular I was referring. This is released on 22nd September 2021, which is excluded from the faceless assessments, any cases which are assigned under central circle. And this is nothing but a search cases. And if any cases which is relating to international tax charges, or there are some technical issues in the ITBA, the PAN is not having the data. Best example, I can say there is a merger of A Limited and B Limited. The TDS credit of B Limited is not appearing in the A Limited's Form 26A. In that case, they can still notify the cases to the jurisdictional officers, and assessment orders in the case of set aside are de novo orders and to be continued on 147. Only these are the limited cases why the 22nd September 2021 notification, these are excluded from the assessment faceless assessment scheme. And the next, it is time limits. I don't think so it is relevant. It's only an issue of notice and completion of assessments. We are all very much aware. Next. Yeah, go to next slide. Sir, right now I'm able to complete faceless assessment scheme. I'll start penalties. After that, can we take the question and answers, or you want me to stop for some time and take the question and answers and then go to the penalties?
Answer at your convenience. I think end of the session you can take the question and answers. Members are not raising any questions still, and it may be consider the theory part as understood very well. But,
yeah.
At the end, you can spend the time to take the question and answers.
Definitely.
Ahmed C, want any question? Yeah, Ahmed Ji, do you want to raise any question? Yeah, okay.
People are started to go with the
penalties. So you can go with penalties, sir.
Yeah.
You can go now.
Yeah, penalties. It is like always I can say it's a buy one get one offer. Once if tax liability or any additions is happen, the penalty is a free gift, like along with the tax liability. So what do you mean by penalty? An assessee who commits an offense under the provisions of Income Tax Act 1961 shall be subjected to the penalty. The penalty is an additional amount levied and is different from the tax payable. So like that is what tax and free gift is a penalty. So both put together, it is a big gift for assessees. And then penalty is levied based on the law at the time of offense being committed. Here I'll take example, like we are doing till 30th September 2021. we are getting assessment orders relating to the assessment year 2018-19. So that means to say the assessment completed like for the year ending March 2018. So 2021 we are sitting and getting the orders for the 2018-19. And then so the law what is existed on the year end, like at that earlier, like whatever the being committed for that year, the penalty will come into picture. What is the chapters will deal with the penalties is there is specific chapters for the penalties. Chapter 17 and 21 of the income tax deals with the various penalties. Here major one would like to add 270A penalty. This is a very recently introduced 270A penalty for underreporting of income or misreporting of income. So the word of underreporting and misreporting itself is a one big confused to understand. So here it is like underreporting. I've reported my income intentionally. Being a X limited, I have a income of like so much, 10 lakhs, but I've disclosed in my return of income only 8 lakhs. So 2 lakhs is a underreporting. So that is one. And then another case, misreporting. So intentionally, I don't want to declare that any income, or I'll claim excessive benefit, or I'll claim the expenses without any supporting of documents. In those situations, is a misreporting. Intentionally, I wanted to make use of the provisions. So where the underreported income is consequences of misreporting, then 200% of the tax amount payable as a reporter, or only the underreporting of income or loss may become a profit or anything it is. In that case, it is a 50% of the amount of tax payable. Now 271C is not in existence. In that place, they made it as 270A. Here I just took very simple example for this. Total assessed income 6 lakhs. Threshold limit is 2.5 lakhs. So under reported income here I can say 3.5 lakhs. But tax payable on 6 lakhs. So I'll compute what is the tax liability on the 6 lakhs. It will come 2 lakhs 51, 2 lakhs 52, 5 lakhs 10%. It is assessment year 18-19 thing. 10%, 25,000. And then 5 lakhs 1,000 to 6 lakhs 20%, 20,000. So total tax liability is 50,000. Sorry, 45,000. Under 270A, even though it is assessment relating to that 18-19, the penalty provision is applicable as on today for misreporting, underreporting of income. So the 50% of the tax liability, 45,000 is a tax liability, excluding surcharge and education cess, on that 50%. So the penalty will be calculated 22,500 of the tax liability penalty. And then here again, I've clubbed both the sections 271A and 271B. These are very like it's more relevant for all of us. Failure to keep or maintain books of accounts under 44 section 44AA, where it is tax audit is required, then the 25,000 is a penalty. And 271B talks about failure to get accounts audited under section 44AB. So if that be the case, minimum 1.5 lakh or 0.5% of the total sales or gross receipts or professional receipts, whichever is higher, whichever is lower. So assume 271A is for non-maintaining of books of accounts, 25,000. Audit is not happening, 0.5% of the gross receipts or 1,50,000, whichever is lower. So instead of that, can I say like my books of accounts only is not there, so I'm not liable to get audited my books of accounts. Instead of paying 1.5 lakh, I'll pay just 25,000 and come out. Will it sustain? Yes, it is sustain. There is a one of the case law, Scared Heart Inter College through Scared Heart Catholic Education Society versus DCIT, ITAT Lucknow. In that, it is decided assessing officer wanted to levy both the penalties. One penalty for not maintaining the books of accounts, one penalty for not audited their books of accounts. So they argued the case, and then finally it is decided, okay, you can levy, the books only is not there, so there is no question of audit can be conducted. So maybe this is where you can guide your clients if any of the case. In the normally all assesses will come in the last minute, and it is very tough for us to prepare the books of accounts and maintain. So I think in those situations we can use this. And then these all are it is like, and yes, ninth serial number, section 271 AAD, penalty for false entry or fake invoices, etc. in the books of accounts. See the beauty of law. He is telling false entry or fake invoices introduced in the books of accounts. It is Finance Act 2020 has introduced. So be careful if any assessee does not have supporting document for justify their claim or to submit the data. Mandatory, there is a penalty. Like it is I can't say it's a mandatory. There may be a penalty, but discretionary to the officer. Here again, discretionary. All penalty proceedings also has become a faceless assessment, faceless penalties. I don't know what is the discretionary in that situation. Even though if you go and submit all the data in very neatly and carefully, but still there may be a chance of getting a penalty orders. In recently it has happened, one of the assessees case, there is a reduction of loss. We have various plenty of judgments under Supreme Court. If there is no loss to the revenue, means loss has come down and there is no tax liability. If that be the case, penalty is not a mandatory. But unfortunately or fortunately, they levied the penalty. We are filing an appeal. That is secondary. But still, it's open. 271 AAD for a false entry and fake invoices. It is introduced very recently, applicable for the 2021 financial year. That is the return which you are going to file the returns in this financial year. And going forward, I think they may make it as either mandatory or they may amend, we don't know. But currently the section says it is a discretionary in the nature of the officer. And then international transactions I'm not covering. Go next. Yeah. See here, till now we saw 234E for non-filing the returns, ETDS returns, 200 rupees per day of delay. Those notices we have seen and we have filed, we paid the tax penalties and everything. But now they've introduced 271. It is not introduced now. It was there very long back, very years. 271C and 271CA. Failure to deduct tax at source and failure to collect tax at source. Here also we may expect the penalty notices. The reason is like all TDS database, income tax portal, all are merged now. So at any point of time, we may get this kind of notices. What will happen? We'll file the returns and then not submit, not deducted the TDS. That may reason for getting a penalty notices. And 269D, DAE, these all are interlinked. It is merged with the loans or deposits is taken in cash. Here it is a very the already assessee is suffering by taking a loan, and still there is again there is a penalty for non-complying with the 269 SS and 269 ST and 269T provisions, amount equal to the loan taken or loan repaid amounts. So we have to be very careful. And 17.1, you see that 271 FA, it's reporting transactions. 285 BA, this is one of the information to the income tax department as one of the pillar as a 360-degree approach. If assessee failed to submit the reportable transactions, 500 rupee per day penalty, per day of default. Yes, you are not filed it. Assessing officer had issued the notice. Navkant, in your case, there is a reportable transactions, but you failed to submit the reply submissions against 285 BA notice. Then there is a penalty of 1,000 rupees per day of default. Notice may specify 15 days or 1 week or 30 days, irrespective of, but it is act is silent. After getting a notice, if you are not responding within the time limit, so per day of rupees 1,000 rupees penalty. And these all are financial transactions. And yeah, here see, reporting is one. If you file the wrong reporting, wrong transactions, 50,000 is penalty. And FP and failure, these ignore. Go to the next one now, Abhishek. Yeah, here 271H is a major one, you can say. Failure to furnish TDS and TCS statements of furnishing of incorrect information within the prescribed time limit. I think till now we have not seen 271H notices. Most of the times, to avoid 234E, like late filing fees of 200 rupees delay, will suggest clients to pay to file the returns. Later you go and submit the correction statements. So that means to say, we are submitting inaccurate information or furnishing incorrect information, and later we are going to amend that. So if that be the case, we have a penalty of 10,000 rupees, or maximum it may go up to 1 lakh rupees. Even 10,000 rupees also is it will block the working capital of the businessman. So we have to be very careful. And 271J, and it's like they're punishing us 10,000 rupees penalty for wrong certifications. We have to be very careful. And 272A1, this already you might have received n number of notices till date, because the e-assessment, actually e-assessment proceedings, assume hearing date is posted today. If I'm not submitting the response by 11:59.59 p.m., the submission should get close. But it is not happening for the time being. But in future, it is going to close. Here it is. So hearing is posted today. I have not made my submissions. I have made a submissions tomorrow. 1 day delay. The system is going to trigger the penalty notice of 10,000 rupees. Have received these notices. Luckily, we had submitted adjournment letters. With that submissions, the adjournment also is a submission, compliance to the notice. So we made one more submissions to the 272A and bracket 1 notice. We got the clean orders, but still under manual system, this was not there. I'll submit, date of hearing is today, but I'll go and represent the case after 2 days. I'll sign the note sheet, hearing note sheet, as if I've signed today. So in that situation, manual is good, but for efficiency, I think it is a very good one. And then here again to the previous one. Yeah, here also we are not getting like all these notices, like if you are not issuing the form TDS and TCS certificates to the deductor and deductees, there was no notices as a default. But I think going forward, we can see 272A2 penalty notices and a wide range of notices. I remember most of them, they'll deduct the TDS, file the ETDS returns, and they'll leave it. They don't download the form 16 and 16A and issue the deductees. So ensure as a compliance mechanism, guide your assessees, clients, ensure to download and provide the data to them. Yeah, this is also same now. go next. These all are like all the notice 133B, like it is similar to 272 A1. If I'm not complying to the notice of 142.1, 142.2A, or at the time of assessment 10,000 penalty, in the similar way, search proceedings, not search proceedings, survey proceedings, if any response was given and if assessee is not responded, in that situation it is a 10,000. And having a more than one pan or more than one tan, there is a penalty of 10,000 rupees. Yeah. Penalties, I was just a little rush because many penalties were there, but I may not be able to justice for each and every penalty provision. But at least majorly 270A and 271H and 271C, CCA, those are the mandatory. And going forward, we may get few kind of notices. So by keeping in that mind, I've covered only those penalties. And if any time permits, we can have a separate topic only on the penalties. I'm okay for to take that as well. Thank you once again for Vijayawada branch. And if any questions are there, I think we can take it now.
Yes, friends, the session is over. If anyone wants to raise the questions, it's a normal brief review of the penalties and assessment proceedings. Anyone is required to raise any questions, the speaker is available with us. Yes, Anandrao garu, you can raise the. You want to talk? Yes, sir, you can unmute yourselves and you can ask the question directly to the speaker, sir. Yeah, Satish ji, you can also unmute yourself. Is it possible to unmute? Ask to unmute?
I think they can unmute.
Yeah, Satish ji, you can. Yeah, someone raised the question. Existing proceedings where Section 147 notice has been issued, whether these assessments are excluded from the faceless assessment and to be done by jurisdictional assessing officer, please clarify, sir.
Yeah, here as per the faceless assessment scheme 2021, all the proceedings which is like including 147 should be covered under faceless assessment. But if you see the recent if you see the recent circular, they've excluded for the 147, but till now they didn't give any clarity. But faceless assessments is covered for 147 proceedings, and we got a few notices. We met the authorities, whether it is handling with your office or with the faceless assessment scheme. They've clearly mentioned we are not going to cover these proceedings, and it is mandatorily going to the faceless assessment scheme. But as you rightly asked, there is a gap between what they've given earlier and what they've issued in the exclusion notices. Still seems to be there are some more discussions on this topic. We may get clarification very soon, but strictly speaking, as per the faceless assessment guidelines, it is covered under faceless assessment scheme. Anandrao garu is unable to unmute, it seems. Yeah.
I have done, sir.
Yes,
sir,
yes, yeah.
Dear sir, Nadar sir, I want the case what the Calcutta High Court, I want a citation of it because I have one case that where video conference is not given, assessment order is passed. So can you cite that case law? And also that Lucknow ITAT regarding 30 and for 44AA and 44AB.
Sure. Along with the PPT, I'll share those citations in detail.
Then there is a case law. Supreme Court has given a one case that department is have filed that in the Supreme Court that there are some flaws in the faceless system. They want 2-3 months time. What is that finality?
Sir, that is only with respect to faceless appeals. It has come just day before yesterday, I remember.
Yes, 30th September.
Yes, it's a very latest one. That is, they're talking about only with respect to faceless appeal scheme. What has happened, sir? Flaws in the sense, even this is only a just understanding between the contacting officers and what we have interactions with the high senior CAs. What has happened? Your assessee is in Vijayawada, but assessment is completed in somewhere. But we don't know to whom to go and submit a faceless assessment. Who is the jurisdictional officer? And strictly speaking, rectification should be handed over, should be continued by the assessing officer, jurisdictional assessing officer. If I go and ask the assessing officer, he don't have the rights on the files. So by considering all these facts, they've extended for further more 3 more months. That is only for the appeal related matters. But still there is no clarity. Means who is the jurisdictional officer? Even strictly speaking, even we don't have the full clarity on who is the officer and who is the appellate authorities. But this is going to be a very good channel to complete the assessment, sir. But only
sir.
the methodology what they following now, they should continue perfectly. I think we'll get a fair in going forward 2-3 years down the line.
Thank you, sir. But I want these 2 case laws which are immediately helpful.
Yeah, I'll be sharing this PPT to Vijayawada branch.
Okay.
They'll circulate to everyone along with the case laws.
Okay. Narendra, you see it, it is circulated. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Narendra, you are in mute.
And thank you, Speaker. Thanks for an excellent deliberation. This is Satish Kumar from Vijayawada Chartered Accountant. Am I audible? Speaker,
yes.
Yes. Sir, one of my queries maybe out of box today, but please help me with this thing. One of my client has received a 143(1)A intimation regarding house property loss has been given with a variance by the income tax department. So that exactly what happened, I just want to download the 143(1) intimation, but the portal didn't allow me to download, and I didn't even receive an email to the client. So I have a grievance with the CPC regarding the same, and today I have received a resolution from CPC that it has been resolved. But now, as the due date was over, the window has been closed to file. So what is the remedy for me? Can you please guide me?
Yeah, sir, your question is very well taken, but I can say strongly I don't have answer for this, but I have a other solution. Technically, I may not have that because the portal what we are, even I'm not able to download 143(1)A notices, 143(1) notices. In fact, assessment orders also I'm not able to download. For many clients, will be handling too many assessments and intimations and everything, but I'm not able to download. But what you can do, you can submit the grievance stating that, narrating each and every provision, like what is the variance raised by the authorities. If not grievance, you have a one more option called a CP grams methodology. CP grams is monitored by the PMO office. So if you go and raise from your mail ID, the Vijayawada jurisdictional officer will be against you. So don't do from your email ID. Ask client only to register as a CP grams. You prepare the contents. Assessee file the returns with the so and so, and this is what the house property income is, or income or loss, whatever it is adjusted. However, the same was not given credit or considered while processing the returns at assessment order. Sorry, processing the returns at CPC, and the same has been unable to download 143.1 order or 143C, 143.1A orders. Take those screenshot, make a detailed submission, submit that. Typically, they should revert to you in a 2 working days. This was happening initially when the initiated the CP grams, but now even for my CP grams also it is taking more than 2.5 months, but it is in queue. Lot of people started raising the CP grams. There is a portal called CP grams registration only. There you can go and register as a like taxpayer. You can register. Ask assessee only to register that. Normally we'll also can register, but it like assessing officer will think we are complaining on the. But strictly speaking, CP grams is also a right of the assessee. We can use it. By to maintain the good relation with the assessing officers, I would recommend go with the assessee's registration thing. Hope this is answered, sir. Satish, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker G. I understood. So you're also facing the same issue now. I understood.
Yeah. This is only because of
Across India.
portal issue that.
Yeah. I mean, when we received a mail from CPC today, it was mentioned in the mail that if the issue still persists, you are requested to attach the screenshots along to the mail ID which you have dropped in the chat box.
Yeah.
Along with the screenshots and description of the error and so.
Yes.
So
yeah.
we need to try again from now.
Yeah, that is one like grievance it is. So I'm saying the second option is the CP grams. It is complaining.
Yeah.
Because normally as a boss is going to monitor, like prime minister is going to monitor this, definitely they'll have some kind of fear. And unfortunately initially it has worked for me also. Within 2 days I got a resolution. Later if I see the number of registrations in the CP grams has increased very drastically, so it is taking time. And as on today, 2.5 months back I've raised few CP grams, but till today I don't have any solution. That is only because of the portal is not supporting.
Yeah.
We may have to undergo another 3 to 6 months. Later, I think we have a very good.
Okay. Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yes, dear friends, if there is anyone is having queries, can you raise them quickly? Otherwise, we have the session.
One of the query, how many years an assessing officer can reopen the previous assessments, books of accounts back? See, under 133.6, he can go back to any years, like 6 years or 7 years. And that is like weapon to the assessing officer. If assessee having assets outside India, 16 years he can go back, any financial interest or anything, reassessments, 147. And if income escaping assessment up to 50 lakhs or within that range, 3 years and 6 years he can go. 3 years and 4 years, sorry. Earlier it was 6 years, they amended to 4 years. And I want material for this topic. Will you put? Yeah, we can certainly will share this.
Yes, material will circulate. Those who have participated to join this session.
And existing proceedings, I think it is answered. 147, 143, 1A, it is answered. Share the PPT. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, speaker sir, can we close the session because there is no more questions, sir. Yes. Thank you, Naukant garu, for sharing your valuable time, spending your valuable time and sharing your valuable knowledge to our members, fraternity. and because of we are having busy tight schedule also. And first of all, congratulate to you today. You blessed a son in between of 1 minute at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. I think the sound was erased.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
In this meantime, also your blessed son. Okay, and we are congratulating our Vijayawada branch, all the members of today's session, and thank you for your you are spending in this time also. You are spending enriching of our members' knowledge. Thank you, and in future also we will journey with you, and in future we will connect the we are definitely will welcome you Vijayawada branch in physical mode also. Thank you, and who are participating and enriching your knowledge, the members, all the members who are joining and spending some time also. Thank you. Thank you each and everyone on behalf of Vijayawada branch. And members already shared the information about the future programs also. Please be plan. We'll circulate the maybe on Monday we'll circulate the invitations of the future programs. Please be plan and be support to the Vijayawada branch and be joined to the Vijayawada branch. And it's more useful to you also in the area of GST and new changes. A lot of new topics are going to be shared in the coming programs. And thank you each and everyone participant and patience listening. Thank you each and everyone, and thank you to Kanji also. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving this opportunity to share
Thank you,
thoughts.
members, and we are going to be signing off now. We'll meet on next program with a lot of knowledge sharing. Thank you. Good night and be safe and stay safe. Stay home. Thank you.
Thank you.